Introducing the wonders of our culinary heritage. They call it superfoods, a masterpiece crafted by the ingenuity of our mothers. Across the enchanting northern regions of Ghana, a symphony of flavors emerges from millet, baobab, sorghum, alifi, berese, and a tapestry of other crops uniquely woven together. Join us as we explore the captivating world of northern Ghana's art of choosing, cooking, and eating superfoods. Today is market day in Tamale. The bustling heart of the town comes alive with the rhythm of the market. Here on this vibrant canvas, traders and vendors converge and display a tapestry of ingredients and also exchange goods and services.
Some of the stories I hear from my mom and the ones I hear from the market women are not different, but most of them are add-ons. And so anytime I get there, I still interact with them. I still ask them questions, and they tell me better ways of the usage of these ingredients. And so when I go to the market, for me, it's always a joy being there because you get to learn, you get to interact with these people. These people are mothers. These people are people who have been selling these things for sometimes decades, sometimes so many years, 10 to 20 years. And so I like to interact with them, learn from them as well. So when I come, I know perfectly well how to use the ingredients. And so most of the ingredients I bought from the market are locally sourced. And I kept asking these women because throughout our workshop, we had instances where we're comparing genetic modified like species or crops, and then the local produced ones, the ones that were produced by organic and fertilizers. And so when I ask them, I tell them, where is this produced? They tell me, oh, it's produced in northern Ghana. And then they tell me, this ones, when you use fertilizer on them, you don't get the results. You don't get a taste like this. This one is the fertilizer one. This one is not fertilizer. This one is local. This one is foreign. And so these things help me make right choices for the ingredients I want to present, because everything that I presented today are things that I made sure are organically produced, because even in the market, they are both organically produced things and inorganic produced things. So these were the steps and the things that I was mindful of. These were the things that I was conscious of in the purchases of my things in the market.
At the forefront of this culinary heritage stands Chef Abiro, a visionary orchestrating a remarkable endeavor. Combining age-old techniques with an innovative spirit, he meticulously experiments, refines recipes, and crafts an elevated dining experience that pays homage to tradition. Also on this project is Chef Kwame Fiafole. These distinguished maestros of the culinary realm have gleaned their expertise from the timeless wisdom of ancestral traditions.
So for the kind of service style we did tonight, which is more of like fine dining, stroke chef table style, it comprises of a lot of elements. So for the first course, there are little things that you put together to build up the course. And so, like for the first course, I presented a wasa wasa salad with a slice of avocado and then the fried edible termites. And you could realize that on this plate, these are different commodities. These are different ingredients that come together to make the plate. And so, first of all, you need to consider ingredient by ingredient, component by component. Consider the wasa wasa. Consider what makes up the body of the wasa wasa. Then you come to the avocado, what type of avocado you use, the texture of the avocado, how it should be sliced, how it should be presented on the plate. And you come to like the edible termites. How do you want to present it? What image or what message do you want to send out on the plate? And so before you start even the cooking process, you script this thing down in your mind, and then you break it down element by element, piece by piece, and then you cook it. So funny enough, when you come to the kitchen and somebody is preparing meals for such service style, you might end up thinking the person is doing nothing. But at the end of the day, the person is working on individual components. And at the end of the day, it comes together in harmony to present a wonderful piece. So for example, like the first course, you realize that I wanted to present something that looked like food that you find, food particles that you find on the floor, and then you find ants gather around it. And we say that the ants find it special. That's why they all gather around it. So that is this exact mindset, the exact picture I wanted to paint, because wasa wasa is something that is so precious. And it sells that sometimes when you go to, and I also took this inspiration from when I went to buy the wasa wasa, because you could realize that there were people queuing around to buy the wasa wasa. It meant that the wasa wasa was special. And on the plate, I used the edible termites to represent the people that were queuing up to purchase the wasa wasa, meaning the wasa wasa is so special. So that's how creative things, that's how we put things on the plate. We don't just put it on the plate because we think the flavors will come together. That is one thing. But sending a message and sending your experience throughout the whole process counts.
So the foods that we tried this evening are, in my mind, very special because they're both familiar and unusual. So I've been working in Ghana in the northern parts here for over a decade. So I'm familiar with a lot of their foods here, but I've never eaten them in this way. So they're familiar and unusual, but at the same time, the way that they're prepared are in a culinary style that I'm familiar with. For example, the starter was avocado served with wasa wasa and the edible flying termites. So I'm familiar with a salad, but not with eating wasa wasa as a salad or termites as a salad. And I must say the combination of the roasting with the cold wasa wasa styled in the salad with the oil and depth of an avocado made it kind of complete as a starter.
I thought it was very innovative what the two chefs did today. The avocado, the wasa wasa salad, that's certainly a deliberate attempt to make the wasa wasa sustain in our minds and on our taste buds. And as you could see, very nice, different texture, but this is local food. So when we say food sovereignty, it's made with the yam peels, and this is something that is staple in the land. The vegetables inside it, what was it? I forget the name. In Ghana, they call it flikiti, but I forget the name that he used, which is the termites that he used on the avocado, which is a source of protein locally in the communities.
that's why my, apprehension has to do with whether, when you can catch it and then other insects. Yeah. So you normally, even all the time, normally have to select. All the time, right? You have to dry it.
Oh, you have to dry it first.
And remove as much of the wings that you can.
So I know that to harvest them, if you put the pan with the water, they will fall in. So maybe the following day, you just take off the wings.
You can't take off the wings.
What do you have to do?
There are so many that you can't pick them off. It will take you forever.
So what will you do? How will
You
you?
dry them. And so when you dry it, some of the leaves will come up in the hole and you are fried. It will still continue to come up.
How do you fry it?
You just go there.
You don't like your frying eggs?
No, you don't add any oil because they already contain their oil.
So you just
The roasting of the turmeric?
Yes. You don't add any oil.
just on fry it.
Because they have oil in
Yeah.
Some of the key memories I have about Northern Ghana. And so I really wanted to present that to the audience and let them experience what I experienced when I was here some years back. And then for the main, I presented the bitter soup with the red millet and white, the red millet TZs and the white TZs, the white TZ made with the corn. And I featured it with shredded guinea fowl and then with a drizzle of groundnut oil and shea butter oil, and then the toppings of the edible flowers from the peanuts. And I decided to present that dish because the bitter is so indigenous to the people in Northern Ghana, whether in central Northern Ghana, the northeast, upper west, upper east. The bitter soup is something that resonates throughout Northern Ghana, and it's something that stands up in our cuisine. And for the TZ aspect, I decided to present these two colors, the red millet TZ and the white one, because when you are in Tamale, it's easy, and that is the only TZ that you find to eat, the white one, which is made up of corn. But then, as somebody from the upper eastern part of Ghana, when you present to me the white TZ, I will literally tell you that you have not presented me TZ, because to me, it is the millet TZ that makes more sense to me as an upper eastern person. And so, these two experiences, or these two cultures that I have gotten to experience, I wanted to put these two all in one plate. And that is why I had the white millet TZ and then the red millet TZ. And then I presented the guinea fowl because the guinea fowl also resonates throughout Northern Ghana. And it is a prestigious bird. And it is a bird that represents to celebrate moments, to celebrate occasions. And we present it to very prestigious people. Yes, and that is why I brought it up, because I consider my guests tonight as very important people. And then I added the flowers, the edible flowers to it, because I wanted them to experience where cuisine is going to. So maybe this will not be the first time or the last time they will go to a place and experience edible flowers in their meals.
Based on how I ate, the TZ was the best for me because I was able to clear the plate and it was amazing. The taste reminded me about how my mom used to cook this in the days, and I felt there was even canton in the food, but he explained that there was no canton, but just because he allowed the soup to cook in such a way that it brings out the flavor that makes me think. So I really enjoyed the TZ, but I enjoyed almost everything. But the TZ stood out for me.
I have always said that I am from the village and I am a local boy. So whatever that is made from the village is, I think, is made of me. So when I see things that I ate years ago, I become excited. And so this is not a new thing to me because I ate some years ago. And when you go to the city, you don't find them anymore. So it was quite exciting, and it brings back. I mean, it brought back the memories that we had when we were children. These are things that even when you have money today, you will not get them to buy.
When I say Zanyore, you respond Naba. Okay, so I come from the northern, upper eastern parts of Ghana, to be precise. I am from Zwarungu, and my people have an attire that they wear that is called the war attire or the war uniform. And they wear it, my people wore it during their wars and during their battles. And I decided to wear it for this dinner, and particularly for that section or part of the meal, because I wanted to pass a message. And when you look at the whole attire, we have the helmet, we have the skin, the animal skin, and then we have the arrows. And so the helmet, I mean, signifies protection. The skin is to represent where you come from, and the arrow is the kind of weapon you use in your battle. And I chose that because I wanted to send out a message, and the message is that there's a fight going on. If I would say a fight or a battle, because of the fact that culture is dynamic, and we've gone through colonization, and we are now in a neo-colonial era or post-colonial era. We are still influenced by things that have happened in the past, and these things have affected us so much that we are drifting away from who we are and what we are made out of. And so for me, I wanted to pass a message that it is a fight, and we as an indigenous people need to fight to keep what we have, because if we don't fight, we will lose it. And I wanted to pass the message that our indigenous food is worth fighting for. It's worth going through all the hustle and tussle to keep it for future generations to experience. So I wanted to present that message that it is up to us to fight to keep what we have. Because if we don't fight to keep it, it would not stay. And fighting means that you need to make conscious efforts. You need to make conscious steps, deliberate steps. You know, we need to be deliberate about who we are, what we eat, what makes us, and what keeps us as indigenous people. And so that was what really motivated me to put that outfit. Because funny enough, it resonates in the whole seminar. In the whole seminar, we realized that a lot of unexpected things are trooping into our society. Our food is changing. People are losing taste for indigenous food, all because there are forces that are, pushing things into our society, and it's up to us to fight to keep it. And that is why I decided to present my meal together with such an outfit to make the message clear and strong. For the dessert, it was, quite simple, but a mixture of flavor bombs. So I would say the ice cream came in two folds. We had the one that was solely made out of the shea nut fruit, and then we had one that was a mixture of the shea nut fruit and the dawa dawa fruit. And so a lot of people know about the dawa dawa spice, but do not go a long way to use the dawa dawa fruit for things like this. And even with the shea nut fruit, a lot of people know shea butter. They use it for, cosmetic products, but people don't even know it's edible. And so that's why I use the oil in the meal, and I use the fruit of the shea nuts for the ice cream. And then I wanted to add a crunchy and a spicy feel to the dessert, and so I use kuli kuli. In northern Ghana, anybody will only have kuli kuli in their cocoa. That is as far as somebody will use it or just consume it as a snack. But I wanted to show its dynamic attributes, and so I added it to give the dessert more texture. And then I wanted to add a tangy feel to the whole thing, and so I added a baobab dusting to it. So in northern Ghana, we would only use baobab either in making dessert or in a baobab juice or in a baobab drink or something. But this time I wanted to feature it in the dessert as a dusting to add a citric kick to the whole thing. And so that was what I presented for the dessert.
One of the men I was sitting next to at the table, he'd actually never tried TZ before. And I would say to him, well, you've had this meal, but I would say you haven't actually had TZ yet, even though you've tried this TZ, because it's not done in a typical manner. Maybe Chef would disagree with me, but I think it's representative of sort of where our food is going to, because he's reimagining for a contemporary audience, which is different from the past, though related. So it's a particular cultural, political context.
It was so fascinating seeing how somebody could take our local foods that we've been eating for years. We've never presented them in such a way that they presented them today. And it was amazing tasting food that you've been eating for years, that sometimes some of the food that I ate, I haven't ate in quite a long time. And this is food that has been part of me, been part of my history, part of my culture. But yeah, they are getting lost because we don't really, life has become too busy or too modernized to the point that we don't find the time to actually go looking for that indigenous food that reminds us of who we are, where we come from, and where we're going as a people. And so it was fascinating for me to eat and taste this food in a way that is presented in a modern kind of form that can go anywhere, because I've never seen dessert made out of dawa dawa, out of baobab flour, out of tama, that is shea fruit. I've never seen dessert made out of that, but these are food that I crave for as an indigene, as a person. When I see shea fruit, I just can't hold myself until I have a taste of it. And so it was impressive, and I really enjoyed myself today.
It was nice to see how he used the TZ in the different colors, the red layer, the white layer, and I think there was another brown layer at the bottom. But this reflects the different types of sorghum that we have. It's the different types of millet, sorry, I said sorghum, different types of millet. And the way that, some people admitted that they hadn't eaten that type of TZ made from millet in many years. And that has disappeared mostly from the Tamale area. Shows you how indigenous foods are receding. So this was a good attempt to make a comeback for this food. And, people like it, so it should be there for us to access. The desserts too was very nice. The shea fruit and the kuli kuli with the baobab, powder. These are local ingredients, very high in vitamin C, They have antioxidants. They come from not far away. So, the whole issue about food and its freshness is about the proximity from the source. So when you encourage people to eat local food, you encourage healthier diets, and most likely the wealth is also going to be sustained in the community from where those foods come from. So I really enjoyed the night. The tamarind drink was very nice. The tamarind tea, also another local fruit, very high in vitamin C too. So you can see how the African diet is naturally very, very nutritious. And I beg to differ with people who come to Africa and say that there's vitamin A deficiency in the north when you have these kinds of very vitamin and mineral rich foods. So it was a good experience tonight. Okay.
My dad is from the Volta region, and that's where I've had food experiences from. For example, the baobab is in our region, and then the locust bean, the dawa fruit, is also available in our area. So I've had experiences with it, and I've also experimented with these ingredients in creating different recipes. So I'm quite familiar with it. But then one of the ingredients that we used tonight was the shea fruit. Actually, tonight was the first time, or I should say, this week, I've had the chance of trying the shea fruit. So I got to understand the flavor profile and plan a way to incorporate it into tonight's dinner. So I would say I'm privileged to be exposed to such ingredients and to use them. And I usually approach cooking from a very nostalgic and spiritual perspective, because when we even look at the baobab trees and fruit trees in general, any crop, they were alive before most of us were born. All of us actually were born. So they hold a kind of history that mortal minds like you and I cannot really transcend. So I find it as a privilege to be able to use the ingredients in a way that's an artistic expression for everybody to understand. Because, for instance, the shea fruit, this is the season. You might have to wait several months before they are back in season again. And it's special within the time for which it's available.
Okay. My name is Edwin Kwekwan Babafo, and Communications Director for Food Sovereignty Ghana. And we're a civil society organization, and the advocacy work that we do, the work that we do with farming groups and advancing their rights and issues for their welfare is what brought me to this forum. But this forum is about agroecology and giving alternatives for farmers to develop food systems.
So my name is Dr. Sierra Vucillo. I'm assistant professor of food studies at the University of Toronto. And I'm here to host a workshop that translates research for practitioners and also for us as researchers to learn from practitioners about food sovereignty.
So my name is Hadi Shahadu. I teach in the Department of Journalism and Media Studies at the Faculty of Communication and Media Studies, University for Development Studies. So I'm here because I've been part of those who work to organize this workshop.
Okay, my name is Mohammed Nuruddin. I do a lot of stuff. I'm a journalist. I'm a farmer, agriculturalist. I teach trained farmers. And I am into engineering as well, in construction of farm structures, among other things. Yeah, I travel. I love to travel. So I came here to learn and to interact, and more especially to network with people around. I love to make friends across the world, so that's why I'm here. And to also enjoy serene environments.
My name is Kwame Jeffrey. I'm a chef, and I'm with the Ghana Food Movement. I always call myself my father's son, and I do that because there's a lot of things that was passed on from my dad to myself, and I hold it dear. Not just my dad, but both of my parents were very influential in the career path that I took today. So I probably say I'm my father's son.
All right, so my name is Chef Abiro. I'm a chef from Northern Ghana, and I work with the Ghana Food Movement. I say, some people, funny enough, call me the chef from the north, or some of my friends even say king of the north, because it's my passion to see northern food get to global heights. And I mean, since from infancy and going through culinary school, I've realized that the world has no space for northern Ghanaian cuisine. And since then, I realized that it's time for us to create our own path, change the narrative, and let the world know that Northern Ghana has a lot to offer. And so that is basically who I am and what I do. And for tonight, there's a dinner created by me in collaboration with Dr. Ciara, who has organized a week-long discussion under food sovereignty. And we've had a lot of discussion about how the indigenous food of a group of people plays a big role in their lives, and how it is evolving, and how people are turning away from indigenous food. And so we had to climax the whole conversation with what I call the future of Northern cuisine. And so what we had this evening is a sample of what I imagine and what I envision Northern cuisine to be and Northern cuisine to get to. Because I've realized that people, to an extent, is leaving it not because it is not healthy and not because it's not good, but are tired of the way it is presented, are tired of the way they have been consuming it for decades and millenniums now. And so, I mean, I've taken it upon myself to make sure that I bring innovative ways and creative ways for us to consume the same thing, to help generate and rejuvenate the love for indigenous Ghanaian modern cuisine.